Okay, so let's show an application of all of this here. So I have here a bunch of I have here 8 cards. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just mix these cards using some of the shuffles using the shuffles that we've shown you today. But before doing that, why don't we just begin to really scramble these cards. We can also perform this first shall be last, last shall be first. This is where I deal down until you tell me to stop. Okay, stop there. Okay, and I'll do one more. And then we just stack in opposite order. So that's called first shall be last, last shall be first. We can do another one of those. Tell me when to stop dealing. Stop there. Okay. Stop there. Stop right there. Okay, and then stop there. Okay, and then we'll stack from right to left. Okay, and now let's go ahead and use our new shuffles in whatever order, and technically we can use them in any quantity that you would call for. So we could do 5 of one, and then 2 of one another, and 3 of the other, and 7 of the remaining one if we wanted. We'd be here a long time. But maybe we'll just go ahead and perform each of these once. So if you were here, I'd ask you, which one would you like first? You want the Pharaoh out first? Pharaoh out. Okay, so let's remind ourselves how this works. So we just kind of fan out the cards. We take the bottom half of the packet, and then we interlace them perfectly. Now we're going to do it in such a way that the one on the top right will stay on top. Okay, so that will be the Pharaoh out. Okay, what else would you like to perform? A Klondike next. Okay. Oh, sorry, I didn't even notice I had them face up. Sorry about that. I was looking at my diagram. So Klondike next. Okay, so take the top and bottom cards off as one. Sorry, I'm being kind of sloppy today. Okay, so that's the Klondike. Which one would you like now? A Pharaoh in. Okay, let's do that one. So this is where you just fan them out, and you take half the cards, and then we're going to interlace these perfectly is what we're going to do. And so this time what we need is we're going to have the bottom card on the right go underneath the one on the left, and then you just perfectly interlace them. Okay, that's perfect. That's called a Pharaoh in shuffle. And then the remaining one that we haven't done yet, I believe, is the Australian down under. So let's do that. So that's down, under, down, under, down, under, down, under, down, under, down, under, down. Last one goes on top. Okay, very good. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of use my intuition to separate these cards into 2 very special piles. And these are card values that have great significance, both in mathematics and in the arts. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just kind of deal the cards down using kind of my numerical sensitivity. Okay, let's see, maybe that one there, this one here as well, and then that one there. So hopefully I have 4 in each. Okay, very good. Well, believe it or not, what I hope to accomplish, and so we'll find out if I did, I tried to separate the cards into a pile of Fibonacci value cards. So that would be like an ace, a 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, that kind of thing. And non-Fibonacci card values. So let's see how I did. Did I actually succeed? Well, I don't know, because none of those are Fibonacci values. Those are 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, and so forth. What do I have over here? 8, that's a Fibonacci number. 5 is as well. A king. Is the king a Fibonacci? Oh, wait a second. See, the jack is normally labeled an 11, the queen a 12, and the king a 13. And 13 is indeed a Fibonacci number. So we didn't mess up there. What about the last one? 3 is indeed a Fibonacci number. So somehow, with all of the choices that you made in how we randomized these cards, I was able to nonetheless use my intuition for Fibonacci values to separate those cards without even looking at the faces of the cards into a pile of Fibonacci card values and a pile of non-Fibonacci card values. Wow, how in the world was I able to accomplish that? Okay, so let's show you how that was done. Okay, and you can do this right away. The first thing to do is put out the 4 cards that have Fibonacci value. So a 3, a 13, 5, and 8. The order of these cards doesn't matter. And then the remaining cards will be non-Fibonacci values. Okay? So 4, 12, 11, 10. As you can check, if you're not familiar with Fibonacci numbers, those are not these special numbers that are used in art and architecture and so many found naturally occurring in nature itself. Amazing, amazing numbers. So we have our pile of Fibonacci values and non-Fibonacci values. So that's essentially where I started. I think I started with the Fibonacci values on top is what I did, like that. Okay. Now, what I did first was I performed this triangle deal that we've used a few times in this series. This is a very clever way to convert the packet structure that we just showed you into a Bessey packet structure, so a Bessey sequence now. So you deal clockwise into this triangle, and then you stack in opposite order, picking up the first pile first. So we stack in the counterclockwise direction. Okay, so what that will mean then, let me just show you. These cards will now be in that special arrangement. So let me point that out. So what should be the case, so look at this one. This is a non-Fibonacci value. So if you want to think of non-Fibonacci values as 1s, and Fibonacci values as 0s, that would work. So a non-Fibonacci value here, and then we do have 2 Fibonacci values. So this is like having a 1, 0, 0, and then here's a non-Fibonacci value, 1, and then over here we have a Fibonacci value, so it's like a 0, and then we have a couple of non-Fibonacci values, like a couple of 1s, and then we finish with a Fibonacci value 13, which we've denoted as a 0. So this could be thought of as 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 1, 0. So this is indeed a Bessey sequence. So this special organization is going to be preserved by all 4 of the shuffles today and all of the shuffles that we'll be showing you in this series. Okay. Now I think I also threw in something called the first shall be last and the last shall be first. This is where you just deal out the cards in the piles until the spectator says stop, and then you deal into the next until they tell you to stop, and so forth. And then you just stack in opposite order. So first shall be last and the last shall be first. When we do one more of those, you can do as many of these as you like, by the way. It doesn't matter. Okay, so first shall be last and the last shall be first. So the last card dealt there is the first one to pick up. So you essentially just stack from right to left. Well, each of those first shall be last, last shall be first shuffles is simply a packet reversal. You can check that for yourself. If you start with, let's say, ace through 8, and you perform one of these shuffles that I'm showing you now, it just reverses the packet. So now it'll be 8 through ace. It just reverses the order. So if you do it twice, it brings it back to the original order. But since Bessey sequences are invariants, are not harmed by packet reversal, it doesn't matter if you do this first shall be last, last shall be first, an odd number of times. It doesn't matter if the packet ends up being reversed from what it was before we performed that shuffle. Okay, it won't hurt anything. Okay. Now, it will invert the packet, but it won't change anything that we're going to do. It won't undermine anything we hope to accomplish, okay? And then from there, all I did was I performed these 4 shuffles in whatever order that you like. So I don't know if we need to do those again. So maybe they asked for the Klondike. Okay, Klondike shuffle first, okay? And then maybe a Pharaoh in next. So this is where you take the bottom half here, okay? And then you're wanting the one on the right to be lower. And then you just perfectly interlace them is all you do. And then maybe we'll follow that up with the Australian down under. Okay, so this is down, under, down, under, down, under, down, under, down, under, down, under, down. Last one goes on top. And then I think we could finish now, if we want to do one of each, with a Pharaoh out. So you just kind of fan out the cards so you can see them. And you just grab the bottom 4. Okay, just pull those out like that. And then we now want the top card here to stay on top. That's really what we want. So we'll do that by interlacing them in this fashion. Oops, get that to go in. So that's a perfect interlacing. And so we now still have a Bessey sequence. We have something of the form 1001, 0110. Where either the 1s we can think of as the Fibonacci values or the 0s as the Fibonacci values. And then the opposite value will be the non-Fibonacci values. Okay? So if in your mind's eye you can just picture 1001, 0110, that's going to give me the instructions for how to divide these 8 cards into 2 packets, so that we get back to a packet of Fibonacci numbers and one that consists of the non-Fibonacci numbers. Okay, so if you want to think of 1 on the left, so we're going to do like 1, 0, kind of 1 on the left, a 0 on the right. Okay, so I'm going to go like 1, 0, 0, 1. Okay, what comes after in the Bessey sequence? 0, 1, 1, 0. Now that's guaranteed to separate the cards into non-Fibonacci values, like those 4, and Fibonacci values, namely these 4. That will work for you every time. Now the amazing thing is we could have not only performed these 4 shuffles that we're showing you today, but you could perform any of the previous 12 shuffles that we've shown you thus far in this series. You can perform any of those in any quantity and in any order before you do this final dealing out. And you'll still finish in the way that we finished here. Absolutely astonishing. So I appreciate you watching, and watch for the next video in this series. It will be the 5th video, I believe, dedicated to Bessey shuffle diagrams.